Hello and welcome back to another video. So as you saw in the previous video, I picked up this 1999 Ford Fairmont. But I'm going to be calling it an Au Falcon from now on because basically that's what it is. Definitely not the best looking car, but what's under the hood is what really matters. And if you know me, you know that I just love these inline 6-cylinder engines. If you are new to the channel, this is my Mercedes W203 that I put a M104 3.2 litre inline 6 in. This thing turned out great if you ask me. But at the moment, it's still very much under construction. And to be honest, I'm actually more excited about the Ford at the moment than to get started on this. But I promise this will get done very soon. But as you know, the car doesn't have an ECU. In the meantime, I'm going to be borrowing the standalone PowerMods ECU from this and get it wired up into the Ford. So even though I don't enjoy doing wiring and all that, I do want to show you in this video how kind of easy it is to do. This ECU basically just needs a vacuum pipe from the intake manifold. You need to wire up the coils. I'm pretty sure it runs the same wasted spark system as the M104. Then you wire up the injectors and then get a crank signal for the RPM, and so that the ECU knows where the engine's position is. Something like that. I'm not a professional, but I've done it before and I'm hoping I can do it again. But for now, I'm gonna drop this thing back down because we need those. Now that we have all that ready to go to get the drive shaft back into the car, I'll need to move the car up to the concrete over here, and we'll be using this beast. I guess I need some wheel nuts, but just got it hooked up to over there. Now let's hook it up over there. Hooked up, so let's get this thing fired up. Make sure this thing is ready to go. The wheel a bit that way. Strong like bull. Pretty windy, hopefully you can hear me, but when you have blown out struts, you can just cut a piece of pipe. This is just aluminum, stick it over there, hook it onto there, fixed. I got the car in the air successfully. I don't want to spend too much time down there, so I'm not going to film anything. I'm just going to get the drive shaft back and then I'll pick up with you guys in a moment.
20 minutes later.
Got the drive shaft back in there without getting killed, and then I also gave the bolts Loctite. Really don't want that thing to come off. Now I want to see down there I want to go under the car and count the teeth on the crank trigger wheel. I'm pretty sure it's a 36 minus 1, but I just want to make sure. There's the crank sensor. I want to try and reuse that. Okay, never mind. I couldn't see anything from down there, so I just removed the radiator fans to free up some more space over here. And I already went ahead and got the crank sensor out of there. I guess that's the only way you can see the trigger wheel. If you look very closely down, just next to the plug over there, you can see the teeth. Oh, this thing doesn't want to focus. But yeah, it's a tight squeeze in there. But I got the sensor out of there, got it over here, tested it, and it works perfectly. I also have spark plug number 1 out of there so that I can stick a screwdriver in there to see when the engine is at TDC. Getting familiar with the engine, but there it is on TDC. And now for the ECU, I need to count the teeth before TDC. Here has 36 teeth, I think, I hope, and then 1 missing. So that missing one, I need to know exactly where that is to tell the ECU when to fire. Something like that. It's kind of hard to explain, but let me figure that out. And then, yeah, things are looking good. Let's keep going. Okay, I can kind of show you like this. So there's the gap. There's the sprocket. So there's the missing tooth. And then the timing mark is over here. I need to turn the engine a little more until it's over there, and then count the teeth up until it's over there. Something like that. Okay, this is very good. So just got done with that. And when you look over here, so in the turbo M104, I have a 60-2, and the crank sensor on the gearbox, like stock standard, is exactly at number 12, and that's the ideal location. In the Ford, we're gonna have the 36-1, and we are at 6 or 7. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say 7. So we should be good. That actually worked out perfectly. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and make any promises, but I'm pretty sure within this video we will be able to turn the engine over and try and start the car. Because something that's going to help a lot is I found a wiring diagram for the ECU within the car. So I found that on Haltech's website, so I'm just going to go into the car, cut what needs to be cut and that I want to use, and then connect this ECU up inside the car. So then I don't have to go through the firewall and all of that shenanigans. We don't need all of these wires. We need injectors, coils, the crank, and then a vacuum hose. So let me sort this out and then we'll get started. Alright, so now that we have the wires cleaned up a bit, it's just easier to work with. And then for the PowerMods ECU, I went ahead and got this user manual on their website. They have everything you need to know in here. Let's get on over to the car and get started. Then the pinouts on the diagram is for this plug over here. So for example, these two, I already pinned them out. They are for the crank position sensor. I'm gonna cut them off and then splice in the PowerMods ECU wires. Do we really need launch control? I think yes. So yesterday I kind of ran out of daylight, but I did manage to connect all the injectors, the coils, and then the crank trigger. There you can see everything is connected up, and like with some of the injectors, you had to take 2 injectors and connect it to the 1 wire from the PowerMods ECU, because it kind of works something like this. So it's phase 1, 2, and 3. So you just need to connect the coils and the injector exactly like they want you to in the user manual. So now that that's done, we only need a power and ground for the ECU. I found a switched 12 volt over here somewhere. I'll just find it again so that the ECU will turn on with the ignition. And then I also thought that I won't have to go through the firewall, but I still need to get the power and ground through there, and then also the vacuum hose. So I'm just going to drill a hole through there. I don't care really about that. I just want to get this done and see what happens. So the only place I could see I can go through the firewall is over there, but it's very high up in the dash. Let me show you over here. So it's right behind everything over there. So I'm not going to mess around with that. I'm just going to drill a hole through there and be done with it. And after that, I'll just put everything over here back together, get the injectors in there, everything like that. And then we should be able to try and start it up. So let's go. And just like that, with the power of editing, we are done. It's like magic. Even found an old air filter of my old engine, got that on there, have the battery over there. Also went ahead and got some fuel in it. Then I have the laptop over here, everything connected up. Haven't made it neat yet, but let's start testing things out. Getting everything put back together actually took me another day, but anyway. Let's see. Loud clunk noise. Now I'm just gonna be hot wiring the fuel pump. I'll still figure that out. It's just testing for now. Now the ECU should turn on with the key. Oh damn, there it is. So the M104 turbo map is still on, yeah, but I'm gonna try it and see what happens. Let's get the fuel pump on. Turn this one on. If anything happens over there. All right, here we go. All right, got the Datsun connected up. Let's try this again. Oh, I forgot something pretty important. Yeah, there it is. Trigger mode is gonna be 36 minus 1 M coil. Trigger tooth is number 7. There we go. Let's try it again. It wants to. Oh my goodness. So it's about 2 hours later. I was double checking all the wiring and everything. The problem we're currently having is we are only getting spark on cylinder number 1 and 6, and then also we are getting power to the injectors on cylinder 1 and number 6. So that's phase 1 of the coil setup. Phase 2 and 3, there's nothing. That freaking sucks. But I already talked to Lance. Luckily he's wiring up a car with the same ECU, so when he's done and ready to fire it up, I'm just going to take my ECU over to him and just go test it over there. And then if it's fine over there, I fucked up somewhere. I really tried getting the car up and running because I really want to know the condition of the engine, if it starts, if it knocks, anything like that. And then I also really want to know if the car, if it starts up, will it go in gear and will it actually move without the ECU and wada. If it doesn't start in the next video, I'm going to push it off a cliff. I also need to get my life together and start on the Riser Benz. I mean, car's just standing over there. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching, and then I'll see you in the next one.